The Philippines has surpassed the dreaded 1 million mark in total COVID-19 cases. Despite the race against time to achieve herd immunity, the Health Department maintains that COVID-19 vaccination should be purely voluntary and not mandatory. Citing the death of a senior citizen in Angel Locsin's community pantry, the Interior Department suggests a house-to-house pantry scheme for the elderly. The Environment Department has launched an investigation looking into a waste spill along Manila Bay. And in entertainment, U.S. recession drama Nomadland wins big in this year's Oscars. Fast, focused, and fearless. Here's a roundup of stories we're watching now. I'm Sean Yao. The total COVID-19 caseload is still on the rise, but experts have noted a decline in daily infections, at least in the National Capital Region. Greg Gregorio with the report.
The Philippines has surpassed the grim 1 million mark in COVID-19 cases after over 8,900 fresh infections were reported on Monday. Prior to that, the Health Department confirmed the declining number of daily cases in Metro Manila as reported by the Octa Research Group. Health Undersecretary Maria Rosario Vergeres said the 7-day moving average of new cases is now at 9,500 as compared to 10,800 the previous week. She added that the utilization rate of hospital ICU beds in the National Capital Region dropped over the weekend.
We have expanded the beds for ICU, and specifically for this week, the Dr. Jose N. Rodriguez Memorial Medical Center or the Tala Hospital was able to convert some of their isolation beds.
Experts recommended to retain the modified ECQ status for the whole month or just 2 weeks before imposing GCQ for May 16. They also provided forecasts and data should the government decide to jump immediately to a more lenient restriction. But for no less than Health Secretary Francisco Duque III, the MECQ status in NCR and nearby provinces should be extended.
Dahil nga nakikita naman natin na hindi pa naluwag ang ating health system's capacity, lalo na ang ICU critical care. Personally, it is an extension of the current MECQ. Another week.
The DOH clarified, however, that the final decision on the matter will be made by the IATF as well as President Duterte. As for the supply of vaccines, agency said another 500,000 doses of vaccines procured from Sinovac are expected. The first shipment of Sputnik V will arrive on Wednesday, to be followed by the remaining 480,000 doses procured by the government.
4 na LGUs lang sa Metro Manila muna ang makakatanggap nito for us to simulate. And because the storage capacity kasi or the storage requirement for this vaccine is different from Sinovac and AstraZeneca.
But the DOH in Malacanang nixed a proposal at the lower house to make COVID-19 vaccination mandatory. The DOH explained that taking the jabs should remain purely voluntary as all shots are still considered under development. For News 5, Greg Gregorio, we are One News.
Right, let's talk about those numbers and the implications a little further with Professor Guido David of the Octa Research Team. Hi, good evening, Professor David. What is your reaction to us hitting the 1 million mark in COVID-19 cases? Did you expect this? Was this within your calculations or your forecasts?
Hi, good evening, Sean Yao. And yes, this was actually within the expectations that we had. We projected, in fact, that it would hit 1 million or over 1 million around April 26 or 27. And so this is expected, but this is not really bad news per se, because what we're seeing is that there is a decline in cases in NCR and in the Philippines as a whole.
All right, which we can take to mean as the good news, right? The fact that the cases are declining. But what we really to know is, are they declining fast enough given that we have been under a stricter form of lockdown for the last month or so?
Well, actually, Sean, the decline compared to last week, the 7-day average, decreased by about 24%. And that's a significant decrease. So the previous week, we were averaging more than 4,000 cases per day. And this past 7 days, the average was around 3,500. And we're expecting the numbers to go down a little further today, tomorrow, and Wednesday. So as for the rest of the week, we'll just have to see. But the reproduction number has also decreased. As of today, we estimate it to be around 0.87 in the NCR.
All right, and could you share with us perhaps the reason that the R naught is going down? Is it the ECQ, MECQ, ECQ plus? What is it really?
Well, Sean, it's a combination of those. It's the combined efforts of the national government, the local governments, and the people and the private sector. So we are able to reduce transmissions when we do contact tracing, when we do testing. And the good thing about when the numbers decrease is that the contact tracing efficiency improves again, and our testing efficiency also improves. But largely, the reversal of the momentum was due to the recent ECQ and MECQ, because before then, the cases were increasing every week by 60%, and now they're decreasing by about 20%. So that's, that's a result largely of the quarantine.
All right, that's good to know that at least we haven't been quarantining for nothing. Now, can we say the same for situation in hospitals? Is the situation in the hospitals around the NCR Plus or even around Luzon getting better, as the DOH has said? Do you have data with that, rather?
Yes, Sean. Actually, the hospital occupancy has decreased slightly. But having said that, ICU occupancy is still above 70% in NCR and even in NCR Plus. And they will remain high as long as we're tallying more than 3,000 cases per day in the NCR, which we are now. So once we reduce the number of cases to around 2,000 in the NCR, and that will probably mean around 7,000 cases per day nationally on average, then that's when the hospitals will start, getting some reprieve or getting some relief, because cases will not be as high as they are now.
All right, and hoping it stays that way. But on Wednesday, we are awaiting the national government's announcement on whether or not they will extend this ECQ, MECQ status here in the NCR Plus bubble. Now, what would be the scenario whether they decide, if they decide rather to extend it, and what would be the scenario if they did not extend it? Can we expect the numbers to go crazy again if we don't extend the lockdown?
Well, Sean, that's actually a difficult question to answer. Well, let's go with first extending the MECQ. What will happen then is we're hoping to see the current downward trend continue over the next 2 weeks, and we should reach around 2,000 cases per day in the NCR after 2 weeks, according to our projections. Okay. So we will be at the level where we want it to be. But if we ease certain restrictions, it will depend on what kind of restrictions or how much we ease the restrictions. For example, if we move to GCQ, how strict or how loose the GCQ will be. And that's why it's a difficult question at the moment. But what we're hoping is that even if we ease restrictions, we will do so gradually so that we will at least retain the downward momentum that we are experiencing right now. Although the downward trend will probably be not as fast as what we are seeing right now. It will probably slow down a little bit, but at least if it continues on a downward trend, that's what we're hoping to see.
All right, thank you so much as usual for your time, your data, and your insights. Octa Research Fellow Guido David joining us over the phone. Thank you, sir. The Interior Department is suggesting house-to-house distribution of community pantry goods for senior citizens. In an interview with One News Now, Undersecretary Jonathan Malaya offered the help of barangays in bringing assistance directly to homes. The Interior Undersecretary made the suggestion after 67-year-old Rolando de la Cruz passed out and died while lining up at a community pantry last week.
This is only a special arrangement for the senior citizens. Not because we don't want, precisely because, number one, senior citizens are not supposed to leave the homes. So if they cannot leave the homes, then we should find a way to bring the food to them.
President Duterte's economic managers underscored the importance of the COVID-19 vaccine rollout in the country's economic recovery. Gerard de la Peña joins us live from Mandaluyong City for more details. Hi, Gerard. What were the key points from the pre-SONA Economic Forum earlier today?
Well, Sean, one of the key points discussed today was that the Finance Secretary is currently in talks with various lawmakers regarding Bayanihan 3, particularly on how to fund this economic stimulus. Now, during the pre-SONA Economic Forum titled Tulong Pilipinas 2021, Finance Secretary Carlos Dominguez said they are exploring many options, including cutting down on non-essential government expenditures. The DOF is also targeting to pass tax reform measures, increase GOCC contributions, and develop capital markets. Cabinet officials underscored that the country's economic recovery will heavily rely on the target vaccination of 70 million Filipinos. During the forum, vaccine czar Carlito Galvez Jr. assured them that negotiations with COVID-19 vaccine makers are ongoing and that 85% of the supplies are expected to arrive by the second half of the year. Dominguez is confident that the budget shortfall and unplanned spending brought about by the pandemic will be addressed because of the country's good economic performance before the health crisis hit. For its part, Socio-Economic Planning Secretary Carl Chua said they expect the economy to bounce back to pre-pandemic levels by next year, despite the weaker economic growth in 2021. He reported that estimated losses to the two-week ECQ have hit 180 billion pesos, while losses to the ongoing MECQ are pegged at 120 billion pesos. Sean, for now, the economic team said that the funds from Bayanihan 2 should be enough for us for now. And they also said that the infrastructure projects under the Build program should push through no matter what. Sean.
All right, thank you for distilling the finer points from that pre-SONA Economic Forum. News 5's Gerard de la Peña joining us from Mandaluyong City. Stay safe, Gerard. And here are other stories we're keeping our eyes on. The Environment Department has prohibited sea vessels within 2 kilometers from the shoreline of Manila Bay. This comes after reports of liquid waste spilling into the water from a ship, which is now being investigated. At least 11 senators have filed a resolution denouncing China's illegal activities in the West Philippine Sea. Led by Senator Franklin Drilon, the lawmakers stressed that the presence of Chinese vessels violates the UN Convention on the Law of the Sea and the arbitration award to the Philippines. And in entertainment, Nomadland, a recession-era tale about a community of van dwellers, won this year's Oscar for Best Picture. The film stars Frances McDormand, who won Best Actress, and was directed by Chloe Zhao of China, who also nabbed the Best Director award. For more updates, visit News 5, The Philippine Star, and Business World online. Visit our website, onenews.ph, for more in-depth analysis. You can also catch One News on the Signal Play app. Register for a free account at www.signalplay.com and stream One News live anytime, anywhere. Mask on, wash hands, and stay safe, Philippines. I'm Sean Yao. We are One News.